friends. My name is Collrane. My pronouns are they, them. This is a pick a card video that is intended to help you to connect to your heart space. A lot of us, I feel, have that kind of almost doubt when it comes to approaching matters of the heart. And I feel that today what I want to bring into your world through mine is an opportunity to connect with that deeper heart space and find what messages lie there. And so my intention as the channel or the reader is going to be to channel in that heart space connection between you and your heart space. So without further ado, if you are used to this and you've done this before, I'm sure you're already feeling drawn to the pile that you're meant to connect to. If you're new here, I'll help walk you through each pile and let you know the options. So here's pile 1 with this honey picture jasper heart. Pile 2 with this pink and orange and purple flash labradorite heart. Pile 3 with this carnelian heart. And pile 4 with this amethyst heart. So when you're ready, once you've gotten into, that meditative space and you've been able to select and feel drawn to a pile, I will meet you there, because the timestamps will be in the description box. Otherwise, you can take a moment to pause here, continue to look over the cards. Yeah, I'll see you there. Hello, pile 1. If you selected this honey jasper, picture jasper, this is your reading. So I'm trying to get comfortable and get situated for your reading. Something that's being drawn to my attention, I guess, is the fact that it's actually raining right now while I'm filming. So you may feel connected to the rain, or there may be a sense of needing to cleanse your energy, or take a rainy day in that kind of a sense. There's something about just needing to calm your energy down intentionally and allow yourself to feel soothed. So yeah, that's what I've got going on here. Also, tea or working with water intentionally might help your energy quite a bit right now. So let's get started. This is the larger, overarching message of your heart. And I'll give you a chance to kind of look at this energy and pick up intuitively what this is kind of drawing to your attention. I'm seeing the hearts on the body quite a bit. I'm also noticing I sprayed some cedar and patchouli spray over the top of the cards at the beginning to kind of cleanse this energy. And yeah, the little speckles, I don't know if you can see them that well, it's more of a reflection, but the speckles of that are showing up. So it seems that whatever you have been doing, maybe you're really into energy work, or you do have aura sprays of any kind. Again, that water element is coming forward. So there's something about cleansing your aura, cleansing your energy. But let's get into this. So it says surrender. At times, we must surrender the old before something new can enter our lives. Let go and all will work out. So your heart space is, again, like that rain energy. And also the throat chakra is kind of bothering me for this reading. So there's something about your energy where you either need to maybe share or confide in someone, let someone know how you've been feeling. That may be, an act of surrendering what's been going on to another force. Same thing can go with your spirit guides. Sometimes we forget that our spirit guides are entities that can receive information just as much as they can pour it into us. And so there's something here where, your heart space is calling for your ability to let go, to allow, and to share. And so I'm going to turn this back over so that the image can continue to seep into your subconscious, but I'm going to leave this up here as I go into a deeper message. So I'm actually going to take a sip of my tea really quick to help soothe that throat. Alright, so pile 1. this is going to be a message from your spirit guides. So speaking of your spirit guides, I do feel that your spirit guides are present with you at this time. They're giving you a really big hug. Their energy is warm. You all are going to have very different specific spirit guides since this is a collective or general reading. But I do feel that you all have very similar energy, like energetic spirit guides, or you all may, work with the same archangels as well, if that's something you resonate with, or the same deities in general. For some reason, I'm getting the image of Ganesha, so some of you may, connect with the Hindu deities quite a bit, or deities of that pantheon, as well as I was drawn to Apollo from the Greek pantheon, so there may be some different pantheons that you've been pulling in, but there's something about, that warmth, that big and bold presence of your guides. So I wanted to give those examples because they were coming to my attention. And we have that yellow color that drew you in. So you may be feeling very connected to the color yellow. That may be a color of your aura, that golden color. And so tapping into that and visualizing that energy becoming more and more intense in your energetic system can really help you to feel empowered and feel strong through this time. Which is funny that I keep bringing up energy work in this pile, so you may be very naturally gifted at Reiki or just energetic healing in general. So let's look at this card. Again, we have another message that kind of relies on that intuitive image. There's this infinity sign on the bottom, this beetle with the wings. Beetles are also symbols of ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt, of rebirth and flying into the sun. So there's this solar aspect that keeps being brought up, and it's funny that you do have the moon here, so it may feel that you're almost out of your element right now because you need to go into that lunar aspect of your life and understand the cycles. So other readers might call this like a masculine or a feminine type of energy, and maybe if you resonate with that, that's why I'm bringing this up. But there's some aspect of you being more comfortable in what we would consider the masculine or potentially solar forces of exertion, and then you're being called to be in that energy of surrender, be in the energy of lunation, where you are lunating with things, aka going through the cycles of something. So, and being receptive to it as well. So here we have the infinite. As Lemurians were only partially incarnated, their bodies were much lighter, less physically actualized, and less affected by aging. They were also aware of their infinite nature. This card of rebirth can appear after challenges that have required a level of surrender. Interesting. I'm getting the chills because those two line up so perfectly. You have arrived at a beginning. Revel in your newfound inner freedom. Blockages have fallen away, and there are opportunities to step into. Stretch your wings and arise like a phoenix, born anew, ready for a new cycle of growth. Celebrate, honor the road that brought you here, and prepare to take flight with the tools you have gathered through your elevation process. So, this card is this deck is from the Beyond Lemuria deck, and so if you don't know what Lemuria is, that's alright. You don't need to understand it to connect with this card, because it's showing that there has been some kind of rebirth, even potentially connection to spirit, totem animals as well. So these animal spirits that we can connect to the almost like essence or energetic force of the animal without necessarily having to have that animal right in front of us. But the Lemurians, that was a random sidetrack, but the Lemurians are kind of like Atlantis. They're talking about a civilization that we don't have concrete representations of in our collective historical consciousness, but the idea of that civilization was that they were very spiritually advanced and also technologically advanced, and so they're connected to crystals and different things of that nature. But the idea of the Lemurian society is that it was very compassionate oriented and focused on I almost want to say brotherhood, but I don't want to gender it like that. So more of a siblinghood, like that camaraderie, that kind of a thing. So there's this idea that maybe you're craving the right people in your life, and you maybe don't feel like they're here. So I am picking up the sense that maybe you've had relationships end, or you've been really contemplating how certain relationships ended in the past in your life, And that's actually a really beneficial stage for you to be in and to surrender to, because it's helping you to awaken a new aspect of yourself who's going to respond differently to people or create different relationships. And so that's a really beautiful aspect that your heart is wanting to pull forward. This card is from my deck that I have recently published called Apocalyptic Theater. I will have links to the website in the description, but this card is going to give an understanding of almost like what your higher heart space wants to say. So in our energetic system, in the chakra system, I can show you on this person who's laying down. The higher heart chakra would be like that connector point between the heart and the throat. So that space that connects us almost to that higher mind, but also allows us to understand what the needs and the wisdom of our soul is trying to bring into our physical embodied life. And so I want this card to reflect that voice that resides within. And this is the Knight of Water. So the Knight of Water gives us the idea of movement within the emotional space, but also in this deck I've infused the Hermetic principles. There are 4 core Hermetic principles for spiritual journeying, and this Knight occupies the stage which is to will. And so there's something about your intentional life force energy that's being pushed towards the emotional sphere in order to really evolve your emotional state and allow you to connect with the ways that it wants to communicate with you. No longer are you refusing, again, that throat, refusing or rejecting the emotions as they arise. While they may not be something that is really easily communicated, that may be something that you need to work on in order to get through this stage and help yourself to surrender. Again, like surrendering the frequency, surrendering the voice, the air. There is something here about your courage to feel the emotion, to ground that into the body, that is allowing you to really harmonize with the people and places that you need to be. Because here I have these people who are like crashing into each other like waves. And again, the rain is another motif. So that rain is coming down in the background of the card. And I believe this is the only card in the deck that has anything remotely connected to rain. So I definitely feel like that's a sign for you. But yeah, there's something about you understanding other people deeper, as well as deepening your understanding of yourself in order to find a more neutralized perspective on those. And because of the way that I've created this deck, I added in a dice to use to give us an idea of where the pip stage would be for this quarter card, since there are no pip cards. So we're going to get an idea of where in this emotional journeying or emotional recognition stage that you are in. And that's a 3. So knights also, they don't just will to do things. They also represent this understanding of bridging the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. And so with the 3 coming out, this is showing me that you are finding this underlying heartache and joy and really pulling that to the surface. So this idea of bringing something up from the depths. And that's why I think that this moon card has come forward. Even though I do feel this connection to the sun and the solar energy, there's something about finding that light within the darker spaces within yourself. And this may be something that honestly terrifies you. I feel like quite a few of you are really not so comfortable with the darker energies of spirituality or your own spirituality, and that's okay. You don't have to dive right in or, evoke all these like deep dark things right away. But there's something about this being integrated into your life that is a conscious action. So that's a really beautiful thing for you, and I'm really excited that this 3 came forward because it's talking about creative energy and your ability to create through the emotions. So these final 3 cards are from the Weaver Tarot. These are going to describe kind of the reach that this heart message has in your life. And so, because I see the Weaver Tarot as being a really great way to connect with spider energy. And so for me, a spider energy is very much that web, that extension that we have in our lifetime. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, with a nice sword and this Ouroboros right over the top. The chariot, with that typical depiction of a chariot, but the wings again, so there's something about taking flight. And this is in the reverse, and almost an eclipse energy going on here. So actually when I'm filming this, this is the pre-shadow period of the eclipse in Scorpio. And this is a lunar eclipse, I believe. So that may be significant for you if you are watching this in the post-shadow period. I'm going to try and get this up by May 5th, which is when the actual eclipse happens. So hopefully that will assist in this time period for you. But if not, this is okay. This is a general reading. But we already have that merging of the sun and the moon that's come forward anyway. And then finally we have the Sovereign of Cups to close out this energy. So what I'm feeling here is that your reach with others is going to be something that you get to present in your own time. The Sovereign of Cups shows our ability to choose within each and every moment, our ability as an individual to reach others through that experience of individuality, if that makes sense to you. This shows that the emotional self is finding its boundaries, and you're able to really show people the true path of self-refinement. It almost reminds me of the moon here, where that pearl is like that pearl of wisdom that's from what you've gone through. And I feel that this is something that you're still developing, and so you don't need to worry if you don't have a whole lot of people around you to experience or to recognize or acknowledge the emotional experiences that you've been through. This is something that you're actually still in the process of developing and getting ready to share with the world. And so there's going to be a release that you're really called into in the future, where you're able to give from a place of, like this says, sovereignty. The Chariot, again, kind of emphasizes that this isn't quite ready yet. This is something that a lot of you may become podcasters, singers. I do feel like it has to do with your voice, so maybe a public speaker. I'm not quite getting that all of you will be maybe in the realm of writing, but that could be part of it. And to me, I associate the Chariot with Gemini, and so I see this as, being something where you really have to get to the point where you have all of your data collected in order to be able to share it. And I feel like you're still kind of getting that from yourself. The Wheel of Fortune talks about, the passage of time. Again, the Ouroboros is emphasizing the consumption of self. So I think you're still in this stage right now where you're really taking yourself in. And don't be hard on yourself if you don't have a lot of social interaction right now. I honestly do feel that for this pile, your heart is asking for a period of isolation, or a period of almost like hermetic experience, where you go into that hermit mode and you pull yourself within yourself and experience how you want to move forward emotionally from a sense of like unobstructed self-understanding. So this is all I'm seeing for you, Pile 1. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank your guides as well for holding this space and helping me to channel through and assist you with whatever you needed today. Please do check out all my services below. Otherwise, I will see you in another video, my friend. I'm sending you so much love. Bye. Hello, Pile 2. If you selected this second pile with the labradorite heart, these beautiful shifts. I don't know if I can get it to do it on the camera, but hopefully you're seeing these beautiful orange, pink, purple little bits. It's just phenomenal. So this stone actually is telling me it has a little message for you. So labradorite is a really good stone to use in times of transition, in times of heartache, in times of spiritual expansion as well. So I'm getting intuitively, just based on having pulled this top card in my own life during certain times, that there is some kind of energetic and emotional healing that's happening between you and another person. So a lot of you are going to be already in a relationship, or you have someone in mind that's taking up quite a bit of your heart space. This doesn't have to just be romantic. This can be more than one person as well. You know, take it how it resonates. You're the expert on you. But there's something going on where there's a spiritual upgrade and expansion within your own energy that's being triggered by another person in your life. So let's get into what's going on in this card. You can take a look at what the image is saying to you for a moment before I do that. It does look like this person is maybe working on this person's sacral chakra. So if the sacral chakra, or if you're not super into chakras, this can be, the navel area or the color orange as well. That idea of like subconscious emotional expansion is what's happening based on this person. I do feel they're working quite a bit with that area, as well as potentially the heart, since we're guiding in messages from your heart. But I just wanted to bring that in because I am noticing this light almost coming down from this person into this other person's sacral. So, or you may be doing that for another person as well. But yeah, there is a sacral chakra that's opening. So this card says healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. So yeah, there's something... for some of you, it just may be like a general disposition. This person maybe is a little bit crabby. That's kind of funny. Maybe they have Cancer placements. But there's a general sense of discord that happens in the communicative self. I feel that you two may have different expectations of each other at times. So that's maybe where this like miscommunication or butting heads has been happening. There's something about maybe not seeing eye to eye too. And so you may have a very strong physical connection to this person that feels very effortless. And if you're not, sexually active, that's okay. That's not exactly what I'm talking about, or that doesn't have to limit this. But I'm talking about, maybe like you feel really like physically drawn to them as well, or there's that like spark of attraction that happens on the physical level where your body responds and your heart flutters and that kind of a thing. But there may be some mental frustration or discord happening between the two of you, and so I want to acknowledge that there is a out-of-body experience that is really frustrating you, and it may feel confusing because the body is responding in a way that's good and the mind is like, but I'm really uncomfortable or frustrated with the way that this is like playing out in terms of communication and sharing. So let's look a little bit deeper. Here's a card from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle. I want to give you another chance to absorb the image and see what it's lighting up for you. What do dragonflies signify for you? Do you have maybe a connection to them? Are they connected to this specific connection in any way? To me, I see dragonflies as a symbol of joy, as a symbol of ancestry, so this may be generational kind of stuff happening. I do feel like you're probably at least past the 4 or 5 month mark in this connection where you've known this person at least for that long, even if you haven't been together. So there's something here about maybe family wounds being triggered on one or both sides, and where there's maybe discomfort because it's unfamiliar. So let's look at what this says. It says freedom. Freedom means living as you choose, with your wings and heart open, able to direct your reality as you want. The quest for freedom seems innate. You may picture freedom in its more extreme guises, but when we truly feel free, our lifestyles may not change drastically. Limitation can be a state of mind. The only change might be choosing to live a certain way rather than feeling obligated. A shift of perspective can help bring lightness and choice. In the bigger picture, what does freedom look like to you? If you are feeling stifled, it is up to you to make a change. So yeah, there may be some kind of feeling of stagnation in this connection between one or both of you. So if this is, you're intuitively picking up on the fact that this may be your partner who is the one feeling kind of stifled or held back within the connection, you may want to approach them and open a conversation and bring out that ability for them to, view their own perspective on the situation. I feel like there's a lot that's not being said between the two of you at the time, and when you do open a conversation, that's what's going to start to trigger this healing. I feel that both of you need to be able to feel you have the freedom to speak when you have something that comes up. So there's a sense of not wanting to, maybe burst the other person's bubble in a way with these bubbles kind of coming up. But you really need to be your own advocate in this situation and recognize that you're going to have to hold space not only for all of the other person, but all of yourself as well within the connection. And that's what brings true freedom. The freedom to be able to work with things exactly as they are. And so I don't feel like either person is really wanting to pull away from the connection. There's just a sense of not wanting to feel limited by the way that it's been acted out as of the current experience. So very interesting energy, pile 2. Let's go into some more tarot. These cards are from my own deck that I have published recently. This is called Apocalyptic Theater. I'll have the information down below. But these cards are going to represent kind of the higher heart experience. So what does your heart, as it's connected to your soul or to your spiritual experience, how does that aspect of it want to come through and show you your current situation? So we have 2 water cards. And this is interesting. We have the Royal of Water and the Page of Water. So these 2 cards together, to me, show a full spectrum of emotions. The water element does talk about our emotional selves. It talks about our psychic and intuitive self as well. And so, like I said at the beginning of this reading, there's some spiritual, higher spiritual alignment that's happening through this connection. And I do feel like this is talking about, the Royal representing you and the connection, and then the Page talking about you and your, maybe inner child type of self, or that more innocent, more pure essence of self and soul. And so here we have the horse skeleton. So there's something about you wanting to move forward, you wanting to really take that ability to be courageous and make strides within this connection. And so your inner self really wants to harmonize with your perspective and get yourself really clear on how you're feeling and how you're seeing things. What's a wound and what is actually a real, true issue that's between you two. So I think that there's a difficulty in your own perception between seeing what's a trigger or what's something that, maybe is blown out of proportion because of the way that you're viewing the situation, and what's an actual, genuine place where you don't line up. Because I do feel like you and this person line up quite a bit and you have the ability to harmonize. It's just that the communication is so not where it needs to be, that there is not the ability to come together besides in a more spiritual sense. And I'm seeing this person as being, the one kind of coming into the Royal of Water's realm, whereas the Royal of Water who's rising is maybe you. These swords are sticking out from the person to kind of represent that this person really wants to communicate, but they may have a very harsh way of doing it, or they may be very guarded. And so there's something where you're going to have to break through this defense system that they've built up in order to really show them where your heart is leading you. Because I feel like you're a lot less defensive in the heart space, and that's why you're even seeking out this reading. That's why I'm speaking to you in this form, to let you know that there's this whale that resides in the belly. So a story that I reference in the Royal of Waters portion of the guidebook is this story by Ruth Ozeki called A Tale for the Time Being. And there is this character who's older. Her name is Jiko, I believe, and she is a Japanese monk, a Buddhist monk, and she talks about her son, who she knew something was off with him. And so she said that it was like a big fish, a big whale in her belly, and she would just feel this, whale flop every time there was this trigger of this emotional experience. Obviously, I'm not saying that, there's going to be some tragedy in the way that maybe that experience later, but there is this big, huge emotional thing that's becoming almost the elephant in the room. There's an inability to walk away from it. And so I feel that you're going to really have to muster up the courage to communicate through that heart space and open up your heart to this person. Otherwise, things are not going to be able to align into the place of healing that they need to be. And so I feel like this reading is actually quite powerful because it's coming in at a point where you have the ability to use that maturity of the heart, as the Royal suggests, to bridge that connection and make it so that you can step down from maybe a pedestal that this person's put you on and show them that you're able to be vulnerable and able to embody this energy of the page. So let's look at, I have a final card from the Weaver Tarot. This is going to give an indication to me as to how this energy is being dispersed throughout your life, what, that web of your heart is extending outwards. And we have the Conqueror of Wands. And so this is a very different energy from the rest of the reading. Not only because it's in, the suit of fire, but also because I feel like this Conqueror energy is, this would be, equivalent to the Royal here. But the Conqueror shows that you're going to really stop sitting back and waiting for this other person to really define the situation. You're going to really pick up your energy and exert that force forward, which I feel is something that some of you are maybe a little bit more timid or shy about how you felt, but this person is really, lighting a fire under you because of their inaction. You're really being called into the place of action. And I feel that that energy is, you're both almost in opposite energies to what you would typically feel able to express or comfortable expressing. And so you're pushing each other into these uncomfortable areas to grow and expand. And it's very beautiful. So the Conqueror of Wands shows your ability to use your passion as something that pushes you out of your comfort zone and holds space for the other person to really, be uncomfortable as well. The Conqueror of Wands asks you to know where you want to direct your focus and what areas of your life you really want to feel fulfilled. And this is, within this relationship, because I know it was very focused on that, but also outside of that. I feel that you may have a lack of passion that you've experienced over the last year in many areas of your life. And so this Conqueror of Wands is inviting you to really go after what you want and seek it out with a very intentional sense of pride. Not in a bad way, but pride is a good thing. Having pride in oneself and knowing, what really drives you is gonna be at the forefront of your experience. And yeah, the snake, that I'm being really drawn to that before I close this out, because the snake is medicine for your own inner healing. The snake talks about, the venom as poison, the thing that maybe we give ourselves in order to harm ourselves, or I don't want to trigger you at all, but I mean, self-inflicted kind of limiting beliefs and things like that, self-inflicted pain, and then stepping outside of that and giving yourself the antidote to the venom as well, because we're able to be self-healers. So seeking out the answers to those questions that you have. That's all I'm seeing for you, Pile 2. I want to thank you so much. I'm sending you so much love, so many blessings. I want to thank your guides who came through to support this reading as well. I will see you in another video, my friend, and have a wonderful day. Bye. Hello, my lovely Pile 3. If you selected this third carnelian, this is your lovely heart-based reading. So, it's interesting, as I moved the carnelian away from me, I saw a reflection. Since I do have a light going, it's like kind of rainy and dark today, so I have a light on this reading, but I saw, like, in the fingerprints of this, because I've gotten my fingerprints all over it since it's so shiny, there is an eye looking back at me. And so it's interesting. I feel that you may feel like you're being watched or something. It may feel like you don't have the motivation, but others are kind of expecting that of you. It may be that, like, you have a partner, or I do feel like some of you are not in a relationship right now, but you're maybe dating around or something. But it seems like you're worried about what others think of you. So let me take a sip of this tea really quick. Yeah, there's something about kind of lacking the knowledge or something. You feel that you lack the knowledge to move forward, or the motivation. I don't know what it is, but let's move forward a little bit. So this card, from the Lover's Oracle, this is going to represent, or this does represent, the message that your heart wants to bring to us right away. So just take a moment for a little bit to I don't know why my words are escaping me. This is weird. There's like a lack of focus. I don't know if a lot of you maybe have symptoms of like ADD or ADHD. Don't try and self-diagnose from this video at all, but I don't know if you already know that you experience some kind of like lack of focus or something, but there's something about your mind feeling very scattered and very anxious almost. I don't know if this is maybe like the second or third reading you've watched today. That's okay if you are really trying to find answers, but I just want to actually pause this reading for a moment and help you to do some breath work. So breathe in, hold for 4 seconds, 2, 3, 4, and release, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do a 4-4-4 method again, okay? Breathe in for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And release. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now let's see what this card says on the back, okay? Beware of what you are projecting. For the qualities you admire in one another are qualities you both possess. Equally so, the qualities you don't like are also your own reflection. Interesting. So I'm going to flip this back over and allow for that image to speak to you on a subconscious level for the rest of this reading. But yeah, there's something about you and maybe one or multiple people. I feel that this doesn't necessarily have to do with love or relationships for a lot of you. For some of you, it definitely is. But for others, this feels like multiple people in your life that you're feeling quite confused and triggered about. And if this is just one person, that's all right too. This is a general reading, so I'm trying to be inclusive of many situations. But in either way, there's something where there are like parts of yourself that feel that they belong to a shadow, like realm or shadow aspect of self, that you've maybe not acknowledged or integrated your full awareness of why or how they manifest. And so they're starting to be triggered through your relationships with other people. For some of you, you're gonna maybe not even want to finish this reading because of not wanting to face it. But for most of you, I do feel like you're ready to start to confront this, and this is why it's being brought to your attention. So there's some aspect of, I feel for some of you this is like business transactions where you're not wanting to face your contribution to a situation or to like maybe miscommunication, or like a conflict that's going on. And for others of you, this is going to talk about like especially more of like casual dating. I'm not really getting the sense that a lot of people in this pile are in a long-term or more committed connection, although I do think some of you may be. But there's something here where it feels like you're maybe attracting, like for example, you have commitment issues that are underlying and it doesn't feel like you are very conscious of them, but you're attracting people that have commitment issues, and so you're wondering like, is this something within me? And so it may be that you're attracted to this person with commitment issues because it feels easier than having to be vulnerable, for example. And so it seems like you want to be vulnerable. It's just a matter of like acknowledging why it's scary to be vulnerable, if that makes sense. So I have 2 cards here for you from the Beyond Lemuria Oracle. These are also kind of intuitive image cards, so I want to give you a moment to just connect with the images. I do feel like some of you know how to channel or know how to intuitively connect to them, so I wanted to give you the option. There's something about 3 eyes that's standing out on both of these, so your third eye may be opening. Oh, there's actually even 4 eyes on both of them. I didn't even realize there's an eye on the bottom of both. So maybe even connecting to what is known as your 4th eye, which is at the back of the base of the skull. This is talking about like deeper physical awareness. Some people think that the 3rd eye shows us deeper physical situations, but it's more of the deeper energetic truth within a situation, whereas the 4th eye talks about maybe more of that claircognizant awareness of a physical truth within a situation. So I feel like a lot of you, potentially you may have health issues that are manifesting based on the confusion. This does feel like things are being experienced in the physical body that are unpleasant because of spiritual situations or emotional situations. So let's look at what these say. This card says, Fire, Solaris Sublime. We live in a dualistic world. Bringing light and dark into balance and being real with our humanness can allow us to reach more joy, authenticity, and depth. Oof, I'm getting quite a strong, pain in the forehead for this. So you may want to do some energetic work on the 3rd eye as well if you do practice energy work or see an energy healer. By accepting and loving all of ourselves as we are, we can extend more of this love and have greater compassion for others. This painting portrays the balanced dance of creation. As the dragons come together, they dissolve into one with all that is. In this place of coalescence, both sides fuse in oneness, not just as a re-emerging with the universe, but as an alchemical process of becoming the empowered creator force we truly are. Nice. And I want to see, I feel like we need this message to fully complete this. She of the Lotus. If there is a way to fast track growth, it is by being real with the shadowy or unloved parts of ourselves. That's really weird that I was bringing up the shadowy self. So, shadows can be painful or tender to the touch. Sensitivity can be a trigger that shows us where we might want to spring clean some of our darker, forgotten, ignored, or hidden corners. Accepting our shadows is the first stage in restoring ourselves to wholeness and self-love. Peel back the layers where there is shame, guilt, or fear, and bring them into the daylight. Under a loving, compassionate light, they will resolve and reassimilate, reminding us that on the flip side of the coin, these are our superpowers. So yeah, there's an unawakened power that's coming from within you. And I feel that it's actually something that once you harmonize with your environment more, instead of being disconnected or dissociating from your environment, so some of you may have an issue with disassociation as well, rather than maybe that ADHD energy that I was picking up on. It's just this lack of being able to really ground yourself within your reality. And that's why I think that I mentioned the 4th eye on this card, because the 4th eye talks about our perception of this reality and our ability to see deeper into the reality as it is. And so I feel that your material realm is trying to show you what's going on a spiritual plane. And so that's maybe why you're experiencing physical stuff going on in the body. There is this idea that once you transform through that physical experience, you're going to really be more comfortable understanding what's going on in your relationships. So that's a very interesting card to get, and I'm honestly really glad it came forward, because I feel like it explained things that maybe I didn't have the words for. So next we have a message from the higher heart space. I see this as this ability for us to understand our soul's voice within the heart, rather than maybe that desire's voice, which is still, beautiful and totally amazing to channel through from the heart. But I want this experience of the higher soul within the heart. So these are from my deck Untitled Apocalyptic Theater. All the information on that will be below, but let's look. So, you have 2 court cards. The Advisor of Fire and the Knight of Earth. And I feel like these go perfectly with this message here. The Advisor of Fire talks about our ability to draw that spiritual energy from within in order to harmonize with our environment through a place of passion, through a place of transformation, through a place of seeing something with new eyes. The suit of fire to me is something that is regenerative, transformative, and it cleanses away through destruction, through breaking down illusion as well. And it shows us our resilience, as the cactus reminds us. There may be certain plants that you can work with to heal physical ailments if you do have physical manifestations of pain or just weird ailments going on. Different herbal or plant-based medicinal things are going to be really useful to helping you cleanse yourself from within, because the Advisor does talk about internal power or the body, as well as the Knight of Earth is talking about, again, the body, but it's talking about grounding one's physical and spiritual energy. I want to say shadowed energy. So even here we're shown, this is literally the card that I made to talk about the shadow self and talk about the things that come into our reality to try and reveal to us those deeper and darker parts of ourselves that we really need to have love for. The darkness is not something to be afraid of. The darkness is actually a place of warmth. It's a place of, like the womb, a place where we go to heal, to restore ourselves, to transform. And I feel that this is a theme that's coming up in your life where you're being asked to go into this place of grounding, of darkness, of earth. And I feel that a lot of you may not be super used to working with the earth element, or if you do or have, it may have been, in the recent past. So instead of maybe focusing on these higher aspects of, spiritual journeying, astral projecting, dream work, it might be really beneficial for you to work on the spiritual aspect of living a physical life. And so there's something about this that, like the domino effect here, is going to really change the outcome of your life as it's currently going. Because I feel that there's a sense of not feeling like you're on the right path, or your trajectory's off. And so there's the relationships around you are really going to benefit from you doing this inner work to really connect with, your body. Some of you may actually have physical disabilities as well that you're trying to reject, or you're trying to shame yourself or belittle yourself because of having those experiences. And what you're being called to do right now is to really love and affirm in it and speak to yourself out loud. Speak to your body even and say, I love you for doing what you do. Thank you for holding the space for me. Thank you for allowing me to, work through these issues, even if I haven't always treated you in the right way. I want you to know that I love you, that I hold you in this space, and that I am grateful for you. And pulling in that energy, I'm about to sneeze as a confirmation. But doing that for yourself is really going to hold you in this space of transformation. Okay. With this deck, I've also created a dice that's ace through 10. I knew I needed to sneeze from that. Excuse me. Ace through 10. And this is going to give us an idea of where in this stage this is going to be for you. So we got a 3. Okay. Yeah, creation. You're definitely wanting to burst forward. Instead of just being in this realm of dualism, like what this is talking about, where it's very black and white, going back and forth, good or bad, I think you're wanting to really propel yourself forward and use both of those dichotomies, any of those dichotomies you've created in your life, where you've really categorized things. You're really wanting to move beyond those categories and see what you can find when you fuse the two and bring them forward, like the number 3 suggests. Beautiful. Finally, we have a card from the Weaver Tarot, and this is going to talk about where your heart is extending into the world around you. And awesome. I feel like a lot of you with this 10 of Swords here, there's a lot of things being cut out of your life, and it's honestly like beyond your control with those hands having the Ten of Swords in them. This is almost like Jesus-like imagery, which is funny because this deck is kind of Jesus-focused. But there is something about being able to recognize where you've been harmed by others and where that's turned into a like internal process of like harming oneself or having to keep yourself limited or stuck just based on the ways that other people have treated you or held you down. So there's something about cutting these ties or letting go of these limiting attachments to people, places, ideas that are around you, and just releasing those thoughts, releasing those beliefs, releasing those relationships as well. So for some of you, you're going to have quite a bit of change in your external relationships in the next, I would say 3 months, because that number came up. There's something about this where this internal cycle of mental pain, heart-based shame, because the heart chakra is the air chakra, and this is the suit of air, swords. There is something about an accumulation, a complete turning over of the cycle, where your heart's going to be releasing a lot of that pain of the past. So honestly, I would recommend for this group, do some kind of meditation on cord cutting or on heart-based healing or healing the third eye as well. But that's all I'm seeing for you. Pile 3, thank you so much for holding you in this space and allowing me to walk you through this and journey through this reading with you. I will see you in another video, my friend. I'm sending so much love and so many blessings your way. I will see you again. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you selected this 4th heart, the amethyst, this is your reading. So what I'm doing right now is just lighting this cedar bundle. Cedar is an abundant material near where I live, so just take in this smoke. It's kind of it does very much smell like a tree. It smells like a evergreen tree, that like kind of fresh, almost like spruce type of fir tree type of scent. If you don't quite know what a cedar tree smells like. But I just wanted to cleanse this space and bring in a fresh new energy to help to assist you, Pile 4. I feel like you've done quite a bit of inner healing. The amethyst here reminds you of that spark that you have based on your spiritual experience. So I want to dive a little deeper into this energy. So intuitively, I want you to meditate on this image a little bit and see what you're picking up from this card before I open the reading and look at what the other side of the card says. But to me, it's showing that a lot of you are maybe in a relationship, or you've cultivated a newfound sense of self-love in the recent time. There's something about you being a lot more comfortable with expressing love, with giving love, with receiving love. And I feel like this is having profound effects on your ability to connect with past lives in a weird way. But also, there's something about, like, you're cleansing a lot of, like, gunk or goo from your soul, if that makes sense. So, like energetic debris from emotions, from past lifetimes. Yeah, there's a lot of, like, soul healing that's happened for you. So congratulations, Pile 4. This is sexual union. Honor the place in one another where you are one eternal soul, for there you will find true bliss. A lot of you really want to be in relationships, or you already are in a relationship, where you have that deeper spiritual connection. If this isn't something that's manifested for you physically, I see this happening for you within the next year. And I know that seems like a long time, but honestly, in the grand scheme of our lives, that isn't that long of a time. So this is like good news that this is something that's happening for you relatively soon. If you're somebody who wants to experience multiple spiritually based, romantic connections, this is a confirmation that this journey is unfolding for you, and this is something that your spirit team is recognizing you're ready for, and they want to acknowledge that timing is really just something that is reliant on both of the circumstances that you and the other people or people's lives, right? So there's something here where you're opening yourself to indulging in that pleasure, the sensuality of life, in being able to connect with other people and create something that feels beyond, the mundane. It's something that creates meaning in your life and purpose. Because I feel, for me at least, and for people that I've observed, that sense of home, that sense of family, that sense of love and joy and connecting is something that really creates that sense of love in our lives. And for a lot of you, this is going to first manifest through connection to nature and to the land around you, and then to how the meaning has turned into, culture, family, the idea of, a human grouping. Even for some of you, I'm getting a sense that you're connecting to the fae, to the realm of, little people. Regardless of what your culture is, there's fae that have been, drawn to and connected to that almost nature spirit of each culture. So that's a really beautiful energy to have PAL for, and I feel like working with Amethyst is really going to help you to call that in and feel protected while you're working with any nature spirits as well. So we have here a Beyond Lemuria card. This is another intuitive type of card where you can look at the image on the back and see what's going on for you, what it's conjuring forth. It may be, I feel that the dolphins maybe represent not necessarily an energy that you're inviting in, but something that you've learned from. And so the dolphins, I feel, are talking about soulmates of the past, soulmates that were maybe not in your life anymore, but they really taught you a lot about what you wanted from connections and how you want to perpetuate this. So for example, this could be an ancestor that's passed on, or multiple ancestors that maybe didn't always cultivate the type of relationship that you wanted, but they modeled a deeper soul frequency that you really want to embody in these newer connections. Sorry, I was getting a sip of my tea, but for me, for example, I have a family that's a lot more historically conservative. They're not so much as they've started to evolve and the family dynamics have changed, but I know for me, I watched a lot of my ancestors model these kind of conservative behaviors and relationships, and I enjoyed a lot of the ideas behind them, which is, loyalty to family, connection to community, these kind of things, but I'm not necessarily going to play them out in the exact same ways that they did, because I have different beliefs. And so this is something that maybe you're finding an ability to appreciate the ways that people are behaving without having to necessarily tie them to the exact beliefs that they had. So that's very interesting, but I want to get a look at what's going on. And definitely you're doing some kind of natural healing or earth-based healing. So even going out and doing meditations in nature where you're calling upon healing energies to be channeled into the earth, especially maybe in places where you live, even if you don't feel like they're super natural, or you don't go outside and go, wow, what nature. I feel like you're going to start to see that there is a beautiful ecosystem that emerges, even if you live in an apartment complex or something like that. So let's read this. It says, life force energy. Revel in the bliss of being alive. This card is packed with luminous life force energy for optimal health and healing. As much as is possible, seek joy and upliftment in everything you do. What was I saying about pleasure? Consider the foods you eat, the environments you spend time in, the people in your life, and what you wear. Increase your awareness of how things come to be in your world and their energetic resonance. You may be inspired to work with healing energies, with the land, perhaps to grow vegetables. You are encouraged to joyously make your life a piece of Eden. As a result, you will shine with vitality. So yeah, it's really interesting that I picked that up before we even pulled this card out. There's definitely something about you wanting to really heal yourself through these very physical experiences in the world and connecting with different plants and animals. For you especially, there may be certain animals in your life or pets that are really going to help you to connect with those energies in your life of healing, of pleasure, of joy, of connection to spirit as well. I feel for a lot of you, you're effortlessly connecting to your spirit guides. You're effortlessly connecting to um, the way forward in your life. And so what your heart is actually wanting to bring forward is this idea that it's safe to experience that, and it's safe to experiment with how you embrace and express love in your life, because you've cleansed away a lot of those attachments that may have made you feel vulnerable to negative or harmful experiences in your past. So, what a beautiful energy, pile four. Let's go into a message from your heart space that's maybe more from a soul level or from a spirit level, maybe beyond this lifetime, because this is more of like what's going on in your current life. So we're going to talk about like a spiritual heart-based message. And these are from my deck, which I've created, titled Apocalyptic Theater, and all the information on that will be in the description. So let's look at what these cards have for us. And this is the Page of Fire and Bifurcatio. So, yeah, this is the sixth card in the Major Arcana. So this is in the place of where we would expect the Lover's card to be. And this is talking about actually the manger scene. So this is a Jesus-themed tarot. It's not Christian at all. It's more from a radical queer perspective. But we're looking at it in terms of this manger energy today, this opening of life, the foundation of life, this moment of birth, moment of conception. So the Bifurcatio energy shows where there's been some surrender, some sacrifice. This, again, I do feel like your ancestors are really a big part of your heart space. You may be doing quite a bit of ancestor veneration. If you haven't, I would recommend setting up an ancestor altar, using parts of nature in that as well, maybe herbs that you feel connected to based on your ancestral connection, something like that. This is showing that your heart, the higher heart, is really feeling balanced, aligned, and connected to the root of you. Really wanting you to journey through this lifetime and what this specific lifetime has given you through your physical body. What does your physical connection to your ancestors, to the earth, what does that provide you spiritually? As well as the Page of Fire, giving us the ability to move past any illusions, move past any generational karma, experiences in the past that have held us back. The lightning here reminds me of actually a Dene or Navajo, what's it called, like a ceremony that I did some research on. I was a religion major, so I did a lot of studies of different ceremonies and stuff, but this lightning way, or the Dene ceremony, that ceremony talks about healing through an emotional root of an experience, at least in the example that I read on. And so there's some emotional experience that's really healing something for you spiritually. And even if it has manifested physically, this is going to be something that's really broken open, and it allows you to create something new from there and release a wish in a way, and have a healthier heart space so that you can give really freely and abundantly. I feel like this group, a lot of you are meant to have your own type of business or work with somebody who is an entrepreneur, creating an offering that doesn't exist at this current moment when I'm filming this in, May of 2023. There's something where you're doing something that is super radical, super new, and radical means from the root as well, actually. So there's something about this that is, the core of who you are, expressing its spiritual frequency through some kind of endeavor of what you want to offer. a lot of you, this does have to do with healing the collective through the physical world. And that's, I feel like there's something more to this Page of Fire. There's something about you wanting to merge tradition and the modern, and I actually use a quote from my great uncle, who's another religion professor or scholar, and he talks about how tradition and modernity are actually not opposites. They're one and the same, and they bring us to an understanding of what the other is trying to show and reveal by being contrasted in that way. And so there's something about you really wanting to expand into this being who can, you know, bring tradition and modernity together in order to show that we are living lives full of pleasure, full of fulfillment, and full of spiritual grace and abundance. And this is a really lovely energy. And there's something about you wanting to really heal, again, with that snake being drawn to my attention. And you've been blessed in this way as well from birth. You know, your ancestors may have not always known exactly what beliefs to bring towards you, but your third eye has been activated in a way to allow you to see the world in the unique perspective that you have, to be able to translate that and bring it to others. So finally, we have from the Weaver Tarot, the way that your heart is reaching into the world, that spread that you have, that reach. And we have the Ten of Cups and the Five of Wands reverse. Wherever you see other people maybe organizing or trying to speak or give advice from a place of anger or discontent, you're actually turning that around and reminding everyone of that beautiful, beautiful ability that we have to change from joy, from love, from connection, rather than from disconnection. So sometimes I see this in activism or in activist spaces. It's not that anger is the problem. I think that anger is actually a really good tool to use, especially when we're doing activist stuff and changing things and showing where we're discontent with certain things. But I feel like where you're coming from that's beautiful is that you don't let the anger be the one driving. It's not the thing that speaks. It's not the reason you're doing something, because if our anger is at the forefront of what we're doing, it can burn us out and it can make us really bitter and resentful to the world. Whereas the approach that you're taking to it with this Ten of Cups is showing that you want to have a legacy. I'm being drawn to the smaller hands within the bigger hands. You want to give a gift to the next generation that allows for people to really bask and revel in the ability to connect with each other, to help each other move forward. And I do feel like this is going to be something you're doing with other people, or maybe particularly with a love or a deep, romantic soul love in your life. So there's some aspect of organizing around our joys rather than organizing around our frustration that you bring to these spaces. Even if others are holding space for that anger and that resentment over the joy and contentment, you're going to really be able to work with those people to balance them out, to show that, we need to use other methods of making change and connecting and bringing people to our cause. So that's a really beautiful, beautiful energy, Pile 4. This is giving me so many chills, and I'm really excited to see that this is the type of energy that your soul is anchoring into this world, because it's so, so needed right now. So thank you so much, Pile 4. I think this is all I have for you today. I'm sending you so much love and blessings. I want to thank your guides. I want to thank my guides for helping me to channel this through today. Otherwise, I will see you in another video, my friend.